Hello everyone, what an amazing group of friends I have today here. Excellent, Taras, how are you doing? Good to join you. And Jussi is here, and Tobias, and Arseny, and of course my friend Oscar, ¿cómo va todo? And Jochen, and Jessica. Hey Jessica, all the way from Rochester, great. Fantastic day, optics for AR/VR. Why don't we get the ball rolling? Let's start. Ladies and gentlemen, welcome. Welcome to the epic online meeting number 11. Online meeting today on optics, freeform optics for AR/VR. I just have a couple of things to tell you before we start rocking the show. The first one is that, as I said before, this is already the 11th meeting. So far, we got so much positive feedback from you that we are going to continue. It's been so far great, and we want to continue making even more meetings like this one. So we already announced, after the first 15 meetings, we already announced the second round, 16 more meetings for you. For those of you who are interested in the AR/VR market, I would like to point out that we're going to have a whole meeting on micro LEDs. So that's why displays today are going to be touch. We're going to discuss a little bit, but we're going to have a whole meeting to talk about the display part. Today, we focus on the optics, and we are now 500 of you. 500 companies, actually. 552 companies, I checked today, 552 members of EPIC, so we keep doing amazing things thanks to you, thanks to the membership fees that contribute to the healthy status of EPIC. And one of the things that we managed to do was to keep acquiring market reports. So now all of you who are EPIC members have access to 17,000 market reports, data, charts. If you are interested in any of these market intelligence, all you have to do is to contact any of the EPIC staff. You can contact myself, jose.pozo@epic-ask.com. I always answer my emails straight away, so don't doubt to ask how you can access market reports. I can already tell you as a spoiler, we have an extranet with all the information there. And also, we bought, we're very happy about this, we purchased for all of you, free of charge for all of you, we purchased the Strategies Unlimited yearly market report on the laser industry. This is the best, by far, the best laser market report available, and it's free for you. Use it, abuse it, because we spent a lot of money. Use it as much as you can, because this is actually great information. And when the whole world goes back to normal, and if the situation goes back to normal, we can all travel. I will continue traveling 200 days a year. I cannot wait. And we already have planned a set of presence meetings. I would like to point out that on the 17th and 18th of March 2021, we go to Rochester. We go to Optimax to have our epic yearly freeform optics meeting. We were going to have it this year, but you know how the whole world has behaving right now, so we do it next year. Doesn't matter. It's okay. We cannot wait for going to Rochester myself. And with this, and also to tell you that we are setting up, we already set up the biggest website for job hunting in photonics, www.jobsinphotonics.com. Every company member of EPIC has been scouted for the job openings, posted it there, and we are looking for talent to fill these open positions. This is actually fantastic feedback that we're getting from all of you, and it's already the biggest website for photonics jobs in the world. Extremely happy about this. And let's see what we have today in the menu. So today is about optics for AR/VR. So what I wanted to do is to have an idea on the challenges of the supply chain for manufacturing the optics that the AR/VR world needs. So when I had a program like this, it looks good, but I like it better when it's like this. We want to see two success stories in this world, DispelX and WaveOptics. Want to understand how they are there and what kind of support do they need from the optics manufacturers, from the packaging experts, from the companies who can scale up to volume production, from the companies who can design, and there we have another success story, which is LIMBAK, the companies who can design and roadmap to prototyping of new concepts from AR/VR, and then the companies who are actually either offering coatings, design software, or inspection metrology. So the whole idea is to have an ecosystem around these two success stories that we're presenting today, which are DispelX and WaveOptics. It's going to be really a great event. I'm going to be co-chairing it together with my colleague Dr. Sana-Pyka. We do our best sharing this event, but remember that after the event is finished, the ball is on your court. This is not a webinar, even though we are live in YouTube. This is not a webinar. This is the opportunity for all of you in the meeting to find job opportunities, to find business opportunities. But having said that, for all the people that are in the YouTube universe, for all of you YouTubers, if you want to contact any of the participants today, all you have to do is send me an email and say the participant that you want to be contacting, and of course include your company name, and I will make an introduction. I love doing those. All the EVGroup members know how many emails I send introducing companies, so do not hesitate. If you want to contact any of the participants, jose.pozo@epic-asoc.com. And with this, why don't we start talking with the people who actually matter today? Let's talk about the market on optics from AR/VR. And I had the honor of having with us the first speaker today, which is, we don't have fibeReality yet. He's coming in.
We have Ruben from LIMBAK.
So we are going to go to the success story. I told you about the optical design and IP company in the field of AR/VR, and that's LIMBAK, all the way from Madrid. Ruben, you look fantastic with that beer. How are things in Madrid today?
We are doing well. Thank you.
Thank you very much for being with us this afternoon. The floor and the attention of everyone is yours.
Okay, thank you for inviting me to this event. I'm going to complain about having, I'm going to be the first after you, Jose, who you are always so excited, and it's like, you know, Grateful Dead, they were always complaining about playing after Jimi Hendrix in the concerts. Anyway, I'm going to talk about limits of VR optics. We at LIMBAK, we are an IP company developing extreme performance freeform optics for VR and AR. We are also tackling other fields these days, but we have been focused on VR and AR the last 4 years. Okay, so if you have to design optics for VR, the challenge is kind of presenting the information in a super wide screen, 215 inches diagonal, under a 100 degrees field of view, only 2 meters away from the viewer. So if you have to do that by optical means using the displays, the viewers are going to have an impression which is not optimal for the user experience. And you're going to see the pixels, you will have the screen door effect, and the resolution is rather low. The system is going to be kind of big because the display is going to be far from the pupils of the user. So if you try to measure how good your VR system is, you will have to take into account whether it transmits the light efficiently from the display to the user's eyes. That's kind of simple for many systems. So efficiency is 90% in the average state-of-the-art VR system. But the depth of the system is going to be not low enough. It's going to be super, super big. So that's why all the headsets you see these days are in general very big and bulky and heavy. Resolution in pixels per degree is also rather low, 15 to 18 typically in these days. And the other challenge you have to tackle is the field of view. You have to present the information under angles beyond 90 degrees if you want to you know, provide the users with a really immersive feeling. So those are the challenges and the type of values achieved by conventional optics these days. We found a way to by optical means, provide best values for all these 4 features at the same time. And one of the main solutions that we provide is what we call the thin ice clover. It's a 4-fold freeform optic in which we split the light coming from the display into 4 channels. And as you see in the drawing in the middle, inspired by the eyes of insects, the light is processed in parallel. It goes through reflection, and total internal reflection in a light folding strategy towards the pupils of the users. And this strategy allows us to locate the display very close to the optics, and also the set very close to the eye. That reduces the size of the headset a lot. And this type of strategy will be applied to by Lynx, a startup in France, to their new headsets. They are willing to release this product this summer. We don't know how the COVID will affect this product, but they are, working hard to have this product as soon as possible in the market. And the optics inside is LIMBAK's optics, is Clover optics. For the future, we have other ideas, more challenging. We are currently exploring a different approach called Trenza, that we plan to, we think it will be ready probably in 2022 or even 2023. This is inspired also on the eyes of insects, lots of channels, in this case, tiny channels, freeform optics, but as you see, there are many more lenses. With this type of solutions, we expect to achieve a thickness of the system, which is only 8 millimeters, which is super thin. It's like sunglasses, a very high resolution of 34 pixels per degree, and we can also increase the field of view if we use special displays. The efficiency will be affected, but not much. So this type of approach is going to be challenging, and we are going to try to pursue that approach in a project called Fabulous. One aspect of this technology is being able to manufacture these tiny freeform mini lenses, and we are in the best place to try that. The project is called Fabulous. Lots of great companies working together to, put together a few pilot line manufacturing pilot lines able to achieve this type of fancy optics. We have several solutions in the VR market. I have to talk about Clover and Trenza, but we also can make super pancakes, and this is another light folding strategy based on reflective polarizers. It can be also very thin, but the downside is the efficiency is rather low. So the new future displays and strategies to save energy, it will be very important in this type of technology. And super resolution is another technique that we have to increase the apparent resolution of the different solutions by just designing the optics, taking into account how the human eye really works. So I think that's everything I wanted to say today. I don't know if I fit into the 6 minutes. Thanks a lot.
You fit perfectly to the 6 minutes, and you fit perfectly as an opener for the show today. It's not your first ever Epic event, so you know how the drill goes, right? What can you do for them? What can they do for you?
Mm-hmm. Well, as I say, we are an IP company. We this type of solutions that we design and develop, we also patent them. So anyone willing.
All right, I'll talk to you later. Thanks for your help.
Okay.
It's okay. Go ahead.
Yeah,
Ruben, go ahead. Yes.
Okay. So yeah, we are an IP company, and our business model is we are agnostic about who can come and use our optics. So we are open to anyone willing to have our optics in their brands, and we would love our optics to be in as many headsets as possible in the future. So we are working with Lynx. We can disclose that. We are working with other companies that we expect in the future will also feature our optics inside. And our business model is based on licensing and royalties, basically. So anyone willing to work with us also in other fields where freeform optics are needed, apart from VR and AR, we are open to listening to them.
Excellent. You have been by now the entry point for many companies doing innovation in epics on the field of AR/VR. I want to present you one person that I don't think you have met yet. It's a company called INOPTEC. These guys are really cool. How are you doing today, Ralf? You have a beautiful background with the snow and the trees. How are you doing today?
Yeah, thanks, Jose, for the nice introduction. Indeed, yeah, it's a nice background. It's I'm sitting in an office, and I faked it a little bit. I think it's in Canada. Anyways, yeah, we are building AR modules to shield too much light. So a usual problem is that you cannot read AR content or head-up display content against the sun. And as you know, in most cases, we see all the advertisements for AR. All these films are made in labs where the curtains are down, and then even huge companies like Magic Leap, and you know them all, they do their shows in almost lab environments. But if you drive your car against your sun, or if you walk outside, there are so many unpredictable illumination scenarios. You could even look against the sun. And what we do, we have a liquid crystal shutter, as you know it from the laser industry, and we modulate this shutter on a certain frequency, which is basically time domain multiplexing. And if your augmented reality display runs in sync, then the light will go through to your eye unhindered, whilst the sun gets blocked off. And the signal noise improvement is 95%. Or in other words, if you want to block the sun by 95%, it's possible. And we do it very smooth and stepless. So when your eye moves, let's say you read a text from the left to the right, and on the left there's shadow, and on the right there's a sun, then the background goes very smoothly from transparent to darker, 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 so that your eye will experience all the time the same contrast ratio. In other words, there's a very thin line between VR and AR. If you make the background totally black, then you have VR. You cannot see anything but the content. But if you want to have real AR, which works outside, then you need our solution.
I had the chance to wear actually one of your initial prototypes, and I was quite amazed on how you actually could go from a dark room all the way to the outside.
Yeah.
You want to share something with us?
Yes, I want to share, and it's also a question, as you said, what can I do for you and what can others do for us? I would quickly share a screen so that I can ask a question to those suppliers who can help us, or we could supply them, the AR industry, with our shutter technology to block off the light. Maybe, can you see?
Yes, we can.
Yeah, okay. Yes. So this is a SolidWorks model. I can, rotate this. And as you see, there are many holes in here. These are photosensors, in fact. And if I, this is our LCD shutter, the green thing here. Then there's a kind of passepartout to block off the light. And here you see a typical Osram photosensor. It's a very small SMD device, and the lens is just a few millimeters. And what we need to do here with this photosensor, we have to rebuild the photosensitivity of the human eye. And there's a certain sensitivity curve over angle. So we call this glare sensitivity. So if light comes in under 0 degrees, then you have too much light and you have glare. And on the other hand, if you open the data sheet of this Osram sensor, you have a certain angle distribution sensitivity. And now we have to put a micro lens on top of this to simulate or to rebuild the human eye sensitivity. So all our photosensors have to resemble the sensitivity of the human eye. This is one point. This is what we need. So we would like to buy in from you guys who are online now, if anybody could deliver a freeform lens for a tiny SMT device like this, I would be happy to discuss. And also,
is that something you can do? Is that something you can help with, Ruben?
Yes, we have done things super similar to this in the past.
This is the magic of Epic, Ralf. This is a great collaboration. I also think that Oscar from CSEM can definitely give you a hint on that, right, Oscar?
We work very little on imaging. and we do not make lenses, we just do design.
Yeah, as coordinator of the Fabulous pilot line, together with CSEN, you have put together all the supply chain to satisfy the need for micro optics, micro lenses. So there is a way, as an entry point, CSEN could actually also provide the manufacturing of more photonics, nanocomp, SUS micro optics. So we are definitely gonna help Ralf. And I think it is time to move. Yes.
Last word, also the other way around. If you are an AR producer, or if you know companies who are looking for our solution, as I said, we can enhance the contrast and we can make things visible which are under otherwise conditions invisible because it's too bright. We can deliver this as well.
Thank you so much, Ralf.
Thank you.
And we move now to one of my best friends in the optics community, Mark Lutkowitz. It's such an honor to have you with us today. If you are ever bored at any conference, you see Mark around, have a drink with him. This is a unique experience that you can experience today. Mark, how are you doing?
I don't say you're too kind. You know, I only write about and analyze technical. I can't do technical. That's why I'm late. I apologize very much.
Never apologize to me. I'm eternally thankful for what you're doing for EPIC. So you have some slides to share with us about what you feel is the market for freeform optics. Would you like to share your screen?
Yes, I'm attempting to do that. Let's see.
Use your delicate touch and press the green arrow at the bottom of the Zoom window.
Yes, and then let's see.
Then you can select which window to share with your friends today.
Oh, okay. Oh boy, this is really embarrassing.
No, don't worry, Michael. Mark was already a keynote speaker at the CTO meeting we had at Photonics West in San Francisco. And he positioned all the different companies in the datacom telecom sector and what he thought would be the right roadmap for them. So we talked also of freeform optics. And he told me, look, I think the freeform optics market is really driven by automotive. And I would like to give this message, but also to talk a bit about the AR/VR market. So that's why he's here with us. All the slides, I would like to remind the people, all the slides are going to be shared with the participants. And once again, for the people in YouTube, if you want to contact any of the participants today, you can just send me an email. Mark, you think you can share? Otherwise, I have your slides, so I can share them from here if you prefer.
That might not be a bad idea.
Okay,
yeah, except, let's see, I'm on my slides, but I can't get back to, oh boy.
It is not a problem. Just tell me next slide,
okay,
and I
good.
will
All
go
right,
to the
good.
next slide.
All right,
Floor is yours.
Thank you. Thank you for your indulgence. It's quite embarrassing. I call it a short roast because you know, Jose was kind enough to refer to me as the epic roaster. It's more than I deserve, but I really appreciate it. Why don't we go to the next slide? Okay, so basically everybody that's involved, whether they're participating or you know, just listening in and maybe asking questions, you know, what I'm trying to figure out is what the heck does all this mean? It seems to me if you look at if you even talk to a manufacturer that was historically involved with so-called freeform optics, it should be based on a definition on the very first point. But it seems to me that the marketplace has expanded, and you know that often happens. You know, don't get me wrong, and you know where the definition expands and that kind of thing. But you know, I'm just wondering if we're losing something here because you know if we kind of define things in the way that they aren't defined initially, you know, arbitrarily shaped, asymmetric, getting all those advantages, does that not lead to limitations for applications like AV, VR, and that sort of thing? So it's just a question, and you know, I would say the bulk of the market, it seems to me, has been moving in with a more liberal definition, and I just wonder, you know, again, it's just we're focusing on AV/VR, whether that has ramifications, and it's a question that I'd like some people, if possible, to address. There's no question about it. In increasing or in expanding the definition, the market research firms, my competitors, my so-called competitors, they'll have a field day with sky-high market projections and all that good stuff. And it's okay to take advantage of, the term freeform, as long as it's something that's real and useful and mature. I cite Power Photonic as an example. I think they've been, my intelligence suggests they've been pretty successful in terms of offering to Osram headlights and that kind of thing. Okay, next slide, please. And I am watching my time. So as always, the consumer apps always stand out. That's where you always have the highest volumes on everything. The funny thing is, in a way, we're still waiting for this market to develop, and in another way, it's sort of happened, because if you look at what STM has done, whatever freeformish means, it's kind of freeformish, what they did with 3 VCSELs and an array. We're talking about millions of, potentially there. So it's high volume already on the consumer side. I know that, another, like with phone cameras, for example, there are some weird A-spheres that are used in that. So if you define it in that way, that it can be an A-sphere, rotationally, but they're weird A-spheres, right? And so there's a market as well for that as well, that's been happening. But if we look at Fabulous, they're looking at a 5-year type of deal here. It's gonna, and I think everybody there seems to be some kind of consensus on when the rest of these apps take off on the consumer side. It's going to be a while. We got to get the price down. We don't know in this current environment, what's going to happen. We're not going to be in our homes as much, and even if we were, where are we going to test it? Are these stores going to open up soon to test it out to see whether we like the AR, VR? So, a lot of questions on just whether it's going to take off in general. If we just go back, I think, and it's just a guess, that the auto lighting, that's happening now in a very mild way. I'm beginning to think that maybe that's what's going to take off probably faster than AR, VR. Autonomous driving, we're not going to go into all those details, but it's not around the corner. I'm not bullish on LiDAR, as I mentioned in previous presentations. And so I'm obviously not bullish on a place for freeform optics, or a freeform optics having a place for a LiDAR. Let's go to the next slide, please. So yeah, so it's always about the killer app, no matter what, and even during good times, that's just not a good sign if we look at it historically. If we're waiting for a killer app, that may take a long while, and it's only going to take that much longer when we're looking at world market economic collapse, basically. Again, I like the lighting. In fairness, in previous recessions, the lighting did not go up, but I just wonder about that. If you don't have the autonomous driving, maybe it's a means to differentiate the car and to sell it relatively cheap means. If you go down the slide, you see that we got to get those costs got to get down in order to get to automobiles that are not the high ends and that sort of thing. And so it is those, there are all kinds of apps, headlights, pathways to autos, et cetera. And the thing is, you got to convince the tier 1 integrators, and they have to convince the automobile companies. Next slide, please. So just to point out a couple of vendors, whoops, I guess I'm out of time, but I'll be quick on these last two slides, I promise, Jose. Basically, I think these are two suppliers that are really, truly doing freeform optics. INOPTEC is, I think just excels at it. I don't necessarily see them in the consumer space. I don't think they tend to do those kinds of volumes. But I think the only negative that I've seen is they don't give their salespeople necessarily enough flexibility to just kind of do a shotgun approach with customers. And I don't think that helps their cause, but maybe they have a good reason for that. Viavi RPC, I mean, Viavi is a heck of a company, a test company. There had to be a reason why RPC Photonics was bought. The business relationship with Osram, that's pretty much understood. It would be helpful. Obviously, you know, the situation with AMS is going to hold up things, and whether these components can be used for headlights and that sort of thing. Next slide, please. You know, and the funny thing is, some people don't think diffusers are. So, you know, again, all kinds of definitional problems. So people don't necessarily think diffusers are necessarily freeform optics because they look at them as, you know, stat types of statistical types of things. And I don't know if I buy that. You know, I mean, I think this slide, you know, kind of speaks for itself. I'm not a fan of public-private partnerships. I think it holds things up. Before Fabulous, there was a PPP in the UK that was for combiners, and that was supposed to help enable AR, VR, and I don't think it really got anywhere. PPPs are about going from one project to the next project, and it's not going to get Europe back to its former self in terms of being positioned in the optical space. And even Carlos from EPIC suggested that you know, we've got to start looking at bankers and incubators and that kind of funding for Europe to advance. And I'll end it there. Just go to the next slide. But that's just a Q&A.
The next slide is a Q&A, which is what we are going to do. So thanks a lot so much, Mark, for this introduction and actually selling it like it is. That's what I really, really love about Mark. You can always tell what's in your mind, and you're not afraid of saying that. And even the term freeformish.
You're very lethargic. You know, that's what I would say about you.
The term freeformish for ST Micro is something that I really loved. I never heard before. So I would like to give the floor. Are there any comments, suggestions, or ideas that I would like to share with Mark? I think I have one from all the way from Neuchâtel, SUS Micro Optics. Wilfred, thank you very much for being with us this afternoon. What's on your mind?
Hi, of course, we're proud of fabulous and interesting comment, Mark, that you want. I mean, I've met you a couple of times now. You are very, very direct in your statements, of course. I mean, you are right. What Fabulous is maybe misunderstood in some senses. So what we do in Fabulous, we basically we offer what we can do. We develop, we extend our capabilities. That means but we already have all. These are all companies who all have an established supplier base, an established customer base. But we want to get a step further, and we want to make the entrance point easier. That doesn't mean that that everything that is written in the proposal will be completely new, of course. That means and we have a lot of use cases already. So and companies who want to work with us. Some of them are actually confidential, and so it might not be all visible. So I think it might be misunderstood, Fabulous, the way you present it. I think it's a very good vehicle for new companies to enter into these markets.
Well, there have been some PPPs that have been successful, not a lot.
Yeah.
And you know, I hope you're one of them, and I certainly do not refute your motives or anything that you've said. But you know, let's hope it happens in this way. I think it's more of a general point that I want to make, that Europe And even if the EU happens to collapse, European nations have to get away from this model. And I say that even though the United States is starting to move in this direction, unfortunately. But go ahead.
No, it's okay.
I think you say something.
No, I'm fine. It's okay. No, I agree with you. So it is the pilot lines are not always successful. I know it's tricky, or things move slower. But at the same time, the companies that are involved, they offer additional services to the existing client base. So that might be the misunderstanding. We're not relying on Fabulous, of course, but we're going a step further with Fabulous. So
one of the biggest challenges I see for the PPP, especially on the AR/VR segment, is something that is the IP protection and the way of dealing with IP. And I think that the golden fruit of Fabulous is actually having LIMBAK. And LIMBAK is an IP company, and LIMBAK is the one that has lots of experience or dealing with making optical design suitable to the companies that are at the end of the line commercializing the head-mounted displays. Is that right, Ruben?
Yes, that's right. Every idea that we have that we think it's worth developing, and we think also that it's novel and it has some kind of it can be